Hello, I'm HG Jude, and welcome to another impromptu live stream. And whilst I await the arrival of my loyal viewers, a little poetry to be getting on with. They hanged John Farrell in the dawn amid the marketplace. At dusk came Adam Brand to him and spat upon his face. Ho, neighbours all, spake Adam Brand, see ye John Farrell's fate? 'Tis proven here a hempen noose is stronger than man's hate. For heard ye not John Farrell's vow to be avenged upon me? Come life or death, see how he hangs high on the gallows tree. Yet never a word the people spoke in fear and wild surprise, for the grisly corpse raised up its head and stared with sightless eyes, and with strange motions, slow and stiff, pointed at Adam Brand, and clambered down the gibbet tree, the noose within its hand. With gaping mouth stood Adam Brand, like a statue carved of stone, till the dead man laid a clammy hand hard on his shoulder bone. Then Adam shrieked like a soul in hell. The red blood left his face, and he reeled away in a drunken run through the screaming marketplace. And close behind the dead man came, with a face like a mummy's mask, and the dead joints cracked and the stiff legs creaked with their unwanted task. Men fled before the flying twain, or shrank with bated breath, and they saw on the face of Adam Brand the seal set there by death. He reeled on buckling legs that failed, yet on and on he fled. So through the shuddering marketplace the dying fled the dead. At the riverside fell Adam Brand, with a scream that rent the skies. Across him fell John Farrell's corpse, nor ever the twain did rise. There was no wound on Adam Brand, but his brow was cold and damp, for the fear of death had blown out his life as a witch blows out a lamp. His lips were writhed in a horrid grin, like a fiend's on Santon's coals, and the men that looked on his face that day, his stare still haunts their souls. Such was the fate of Adam Brand, a strange, unearthly fate, far stronger than death or hempen noose are the fires of a dead man's hate. Good day to one and all. Joining me, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or if you're tucked up in bed with your nightcap on, we're here for an impromptu live stream where I'll answer your questions. So, let us see what we have. Sue Erting asks, do any of your intimate partner secondary sources go, I will not be ignored, if they're on the shelf for long periods? Well, they might take that view that they're not going to be ignored, but they have no call in that matter. They might try to get in touch with the narcissist and would either be ignored, taken off the shelf, or thrown some comfort crumbs. But it all depends on whether the narcissism dictates that there ought to be that involvement or not. John Smith has asked, what poem is this? It's called Dead Man's Hate. Suitable, I would have thought. Ellen Karina. Good afternoon, HG. I just sat down with a cup of tea. Perfect timing. Which type of tea are you enjoying today, Elena? Lilith of Daydream, you are correct in identifying it as Dead Man's Hate. Very well done. Laura Era, good morning, glorious narrator. Good morning to you. Mad Monkey declares it a happy day. And Patan declares that YouTube didn't notify her. Well, we all know that YouTube is an utter scoundrel, a complete rapscallion. Anne Crosby, thank you very much. Tom Muggeridge, I was just about to go to sleep. Thank God I didn't miss it. Yes, stay awake, Tom. Jab a fork in your thigh. Snort some chili pepper, whatever it takes to keep yourself awake, and listen to the glorious narrator. Colleen Proctor, or Colleen Proctor. Good morning from Florida. Hello, Florida. Can you please explain the difference between assertion of control through withdrawal versus go so no contact? Simple. The assertion of control through withdrawal is performed by the narcissist. Go so is performed by the victim. Patan, mid-afternoon here in Brum, HG. Are you back home? No, I'm not. Lucky Lass, good morning from Texas. Howdy. Carmen Miranda's just got notified. Of what? I hope it was this live stream, rather than the fact that you're about to be hit with a rather large fine for doing something unmentionable. Tom Muggeridge, how does emotional thinking know people are narcissists? It doesn't know people that are narcissists. It's the addiction that identifies that an individual is a narcissist and thus creates the emotional thinking. Incarnated Love, I'm curious about your self-talk. What do you think when you look in the mirror? My God, he's handsome. John Smith, can a narcissist get fuel when you're dealing with a matter through a solicitor? I am dealing with an issue now. Yes, of course, because if the solicitor writes a letter and falls into the trap of using emotive language, for instance, we are astonished at your client's behavior, or we are amazed. That's emotive responses, and therefore it's the provision of fuel. The fuel, of course, comes from the solicitor. Of course, if they make reference to our client was hurt and upset to read, then the fuel also comes from the person about whom the solicitor is talking. It's not a large amount of fuel, as you ought to know, because it comes in the form of writing. Patan, HG, I've been wondering why you have two therapists. Do they work together and compare notes? Well, you should know by now, one is never enough for the ultra. Sarah Pavlen, how this pain go away when think of him? Well, first of all, don't be thinking of him. No contact since 4 months and I don't want him back, but this pain. I suspect that you don't have a total no contact regime, and therefore your emotional thinking is far higher than it ought to be, and that's what's causing the pain. I would encourage you to book an audio consultation with me, Sarah, so that I can help you in greater detail, as the issue of your no contact regime and emotional thinking are both expansive subjects. Laura Era was listening to your borderline video. We'll listen to the one you made 3 weeks ago as well once you've concluded. Good. Oscar Madison encouraged people to get the likes up, and so you should. There are only 42 likes that are sat there, which is quite honestly disappointing. So you need to just coax your finger across, find the like button, give it a little tickle, give it a little caress, give it a little prod. You don't need to tell me that you've already done it. Just do it. Queen of Kingsbury, HG, do you have any tattoos? No, it's sensible to avoid anything that identifies one in such a way. So I don't have any tattoos. No middle class tattoos. And they're not something that finds favor with me. Triple J Mom, correct on YouTube as with everything, HG. I'm obliged. Rebecca, I wasn't notified either. YouTube needs to be punished in the woodshed. Kathy Rogers, good morning to you. I'm pleased that you're able to join me live. Canadian girl, good morning from Canada. Your videos have helped me understand a narcissist in my own family. I'm pleased to see that that's the case. If you have not already accessed it, I would encourage you to obtain How to Handle a Parental Narcissist. And this is the last day that you can get 50% off it. Just watch the video. Massive discount, 100,000 subscribers, and you'll get a huge and astronomically generous 50% off everything in the Knowledge Vault except narc detectors, empath detectors, trait detectors, weaponized empath detectors, audio consultations, email consultations, and additional work packages. But everything else, over 200 items, 200, not 100, not 150, but 200 items slashed in price. Go fill your boots. Amy Jones, hello from Texas. Bim here is Bevy, tells us that it's midnight in Australia. Well, thank you for staying up, particularly at the start of another week. Lilith of Daydream. Hi, HG. How do you like your eggs? Scrambled, like the mind of my victims. Cheez-Its. Have you read The Wisdom of Psychopaths? Why would I need to? I'm wise. I'm a psychopath. I know it already. No, I haven't read that. Jessica S. I was about to work out. Well, you can work out and listen to me. You can walk and chew gum. Georgina. Hello, Mr. Tudor. What is your favourite word? Is it still plinth? Well remembered that it is. Plinth is a favourite word of mine. I like the way that it forms in one's mouth. Plinth. Pa is another word that I like also for obvious reasons. Bumblebee, what is your favourite drink? Well, it depends. Sometimes water. If I'm doing exercise, water's my favourite drink. Another occasion it might be vodka and tonic, or a lovely glass of dirt champagne. And of course, it would be remiss of you if you were not to make a generous contribution to the Dirt Champagne Fund for your glorious narrator to show thanks for the many, many hundreds of videos you get for sweet fuck all, and in order to ensure that this throat that does so much work on your behalf is suitably lubricated. My thanks in advance. Danny R. How to forgive when it's parental. Then what you need to do is go and obtain, as I've just mentioned, how to handle a parental narcissist. The answer is in there. Anne Crosby, have you been discarded, H.G. Tudor? You don't discard a narcissist, you escape the narcissist. Go and obtain the 3 that got away. Have I ever suffered a narcissistic collapse? No, I have not. Rebecca, I have the factors to become a narcissist, but I'm an empath. Why didn't I become a narcissist? Well, quite simply, either your genetic predisposition was missing, it skipped, or it's there, but you had a number of intervening factors that were intervener. Tom Muggeridge, can you be Machiavellian but not a narcissist? No. You would have narcissistic traits and still have that. Would you be a narcissist per se? I would say that you would not be. The Machiavellianism is part of the narcissism. And of course, many narcissists don't have that Machiavellianism. Carol Crockwell recommends my water bottle. Thank you for doing so. You can get that in the House of Tudor. Anna Madil, how long has it taken you to devise the categories of narcissist and empath? Well, I did this many years ago as I started to write about them, and there was some development as I wrote. So some of the early works, for example, might not include some of the, I think, the middle range A and middle range B, if I recall correctly. But it was about a year or so of delving into it. So, Miranda, what defines you, HG? My success, I would suggest, of course, supported by my narcissism and psychopathy. Queen of Kingsbury, it's difficult not to think of the narc who destroyed your life. Didn't you suggest cognitive therapy to help one not think of the horrible past? Well, in some instances, that might be advantageous for certain people. And of course, I think there's the EMDR therapy, which may help people also. But ultimately, it's about taking responsibility and engaging in the reduction of your emotional thinking, which will aid you in not thinking about those matters. Erin M. Town, is Eve Barlow a narcissist? Go to the Knowledge Vault, obtain Know the Narcissist. Queen of Kingsbury approves of my lack of tattoos, everybody. Christine Perosco, hello HG, what will you blow our minds with today? Well, I can tell you what I won't be blowing your minds with, a Glock. Carmen Miranda, I didn't think HG would have tattoos. Then Carmen Miranda, you may pluck a piece of fruit from your headwear and eat it in celebration of being correct. Elena Karina, English breakfast tea with biscuits, of course. What biscuits are you having? Are you having ginger nuts, custard creams, Garibaldi, maybe a chocolate digestive? I would like to find out. Let me see. Tina Stiles, thank you for your donation. Favorite holiday destination and why? Well, it depends. I often like going to Scotland, which for reasons that I'm not going to share now, because you'll read about them in due course. So that's actually a favourite holiday destination of mine, Scotland, for some particularly pertinent personal reasons. I also like going to the United States because it's such a diverse place. And Rome is one of my favorite cities also. There are a number of places. There are so many places one can go on holiday. I, of course, don't tend to really go on holiday per se. I tend to combine it with other things as well because there's so much that needs to be done. Patan, thank you for your donation to enable me to have a sip of champagne. That is appreciated. Let me scroll back to see what I might have missed here. Patan, I was listening last night to your video, What Does Fuel Feel Like to Us? It was very instructive. It was so amazing with your voice coming through my headphones and in the dark. Good. I'm pleased that you found it instructive and useful. Queen of Kingsbury, I'm going to continue with the Knowing HG series. I listened to 1 and 2, and all I can say is shivers. Not shivers me timbers. It's not about piracy, in case anybody was wondering. But I'd encourage you all of you, if you haven't already done so, why not treat yourself? It's the beginning of May. For many of you in the Northern Hemisphere, the days are now longer. The sun is staying longer. It's getting warmer. Therefore, treat yourself in the light to Knowing HG. Those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, my Antipodean friends down there in Australia and New Zealand, the days may be shortening. And if they are, why not embrace the coming darkness by learning about the Master of Darkness through Knowing HG? As mentioned, whopping 50% off at the moment. You'd be silly not to take advantage of it. Sarah, why isn't Getting Out not in the knowledge site, or you changed the name? I probably just haven't uploaded it to there. You can get it on Amazon, so not a problem. Pink Pixie, hello HG, how to get over X-Narc. Consult with me and I'll equip you with all of the tools that will enable you to do that. Somebody's name that looks like Tabitha, but it probably isn't, is Angelina Jolie a narcissist? Well, I'd encourage you to know the narcissist, which you'll find in the knowledge vault. John Smith, do you think neuro-linguistic programming will help someone train their brain to stop thinking about the narcissist and deal with the damage they do? I would think that consulting with me would end them. Queen Victoria, does your girlfriend know you're a psychopathic narcissist? No. Swinging A, massive pleasure to join your lives. Good to have you on board, Swinging A. Bianca Mayer is here. Also, hello, Bianca. My Toby Toaster. Hello, Toby Toaster. Good morning, HG. How do you think Amber Heard will act on the stand this week after this past revelations? Well, we will see some facade activity, and we will see it fracture under cross-examination as well. There'll be some tears, there'll be some defiance, and a lot of lies. So that's the sort of base level things that you'll see. A more finessed version, time doesn't allow me to go into detail in order to try and answer as many questions as possible. Sweetest Perfection, HG, did you celebrate your team's victory last night? And if yes, how? No, I didn't. I did watch it and was obviously pleased to see us smash Dirty Leeds United 4-0, but there was no celebration. I will celebrate when the Premiership is won, and also should we win the Champions League. Mad Monkey, one more question if you please, HG. What is the determining factor or multiple factors for determining whether a narcissist is self-aware? If you've answered this, what video should I search for? Well, actually, it's something I'm going to be writing about, and so I'm not going to go into detail as to what those factors are now. They do exist, and it's part of what happens. It's part of its link to the genetics, but it's also heavily influenced by a particular environment in which the narcissist finds themselves. And I will be writing about this, so rather than spoil that anticipation, you can look out for that in due course. Tom Muggeridge, HG, hypothetically speaking, what would you do if your intimate partner primary source out you through the narc detector without realizing that I'm HG Tudor? Well, I would recognize that she'd sent in the narc detector and send it back saying, this person is clearly an empath who has your best interests at heart. You'd be best served being more respectful and compliant. And that should do the trick. Oscar Madison, would a lower mid-range or middle mid-range narcissist find it bothersome? No, bothersome. If someone always responded to them in a flat, unemotional tone of voice. It would amount to challenge fuel. See the 3 interactions with the narcissist if you'd like to understand what that is. Cheez-Its tells us that there's no Marmite in the Philly area. Getting desperate. It sounds like a plea for help from Cheez-Its there. If anybody is in the Philly area and is listening and you've got some Marmite, you can either donate it to Cheez-Its or drive past Cheez-Its house waving your bottle of Marmite or jar of Marmite and saying, I've got Marmite, you haven't, and laugh. D. What creates a psychopath? Is it similar to what creates a narcissist? That's more linked to the genetics. Laura Era. Going to buy some more books. Jolly good. I'm gathering a small library of content to learn from. I love to read, but HG imparts so much useful information. I think it should be taught in high schools. I agree. Christine Peruska tells me that HG is the absolute best. I concur. Pink Pixie, help. He's living with NS, yet comes over to be with me. Should I tell his NS? No, if you realize you're dealing with a narcissist, get out and stay out. Telling the NS, whilst one can understand that you'd want to do so for a variety of reasons, possibly wanting to help, possibly wanting to fuck things up for the narcissist, that would not be to your benefit, and therefore you should refrain from doing so. Bumblebee, who is your favorite author at the moment? H.G. Tudor, brilliant writer. Everybody should be reading his work. Queen Victoria, do you work alone or with a staff? Alone, I imagine. Are you talking about what I do blog or professionally? Lilith of Daydream. HG, when you're walking in public, are you constantly scanning the areas for potential victims? Well, in the broader sense, Lilith of Daydream, everybody is a potential victim because they interact with me. The dynamic is such as I'm the narcissist, they're the victim because I take from them. They might not, of course, feel at all that they're a victim, and one can understand that. For instance, if I were to buy some filth that's in a hot dog from the guy that works in a hot dog stand, I've taken from him because I've drawn fuel from him under residual benefit, although it's a questionable residual benefit, isn't it? But nevertheless, I've taken from him, and therefore, in my dynamic, he is a victim. So I'm not necessarily scanning all the time for a potential intimate partner primary source, because there'll be occasions where that's not necessary, of course, where that individual is in the golden period. Anne Crosby, H.G. Tudor, you sound like a real English gentleman. I cannot visualize you being as nasty as my ex narcissist. Well, part of that is my charm and my erudite information that I provide to you. If I was snarling and swearing at you and being generally nasty, you wouldn't listen to me. And therefore, it behooves me to naturally maintain this facade of superior information that's provided to you in order to draw you in. Believe me, there is a dark side to me, and many people have experienced it. But you needn't. You can observe it in some of the writings and videos. And I don't tell you everything about things that I've done or do. It was unnecessary. Man always has to have some secrets, of course. Sarap Pehlevan, thank you for your donation. That is appreciated. And any others of you there who wish to soothe the fevered throat of your glorious narrator, please do contribute to the Dirts Fund. All donations acknowledged and appreciated. Himani Chwalwa, hi HG. If you had the chance to change one thing from your past, what would it be and why? Can't be done. There's no point. Having a preoccupation with the past is one of the weaknesses of human beings. We don't have time machines. You can't get in and change your past. It's done. It's baked. It's happened. You either deal with the aftermath of it or put it to one side and continue to move forward. But if there was a magic wand that would enable me to change one particular thing, I suspect it would be not to have been blamed for my twin sister's demise. Pink Pixie, how to get an appointment with UHG? Very simple. You go to narcsite.com and you go to the menu bar. It says the consultations. Click on that. Drop down menu, audio consultation, click pay. You'll receive the material automatically, which tells you what you need to do next. Alternatively, you can use the link for audio consultation in the video description on nearly all of my videos. Joanne McAvoy, I plan to get the empath detector. I'm curious to know if there is a result that you were ever surprised by from those who've taken the empath detector. No. Sharon's Redemption. Do you know of Dr. Plagiarizer? Yes. It would be so wonderful to see Doctor and the Narc collaborate. No, it wouldn't. She pinches my work without credit, and therefore she's not somebody that I would be working with. Whilst I appreciate she has an extensive reach by virtue of the media involvement that she has, anybody who has to keep telling you about the fact that they're a doctor becomes very boring very quickly. Chase Holmes. Just listen to Knowing HG 1 to 9. Are any of the 10 greaters, and are all of them narcissists? You'll have to wait and find out, but not all of them are narcissists, I'll tell you that. Queen of Kingsbury, please delve deep into Amber Heard. Well, I've just done 13 plus parts about her. What more do you want? Stacey L. Plagiarizer lifts HG's work. Indeed, she does, Stacey L. Thank you for pointing that out. Who is your the most favorite narcissist on YouTube? Easy that. Me. Joanne McAvoy. Hello from Ottawa, Canada. Can you believe there are still more protests going on here? I can. Who cares? Hello, HG. Hello. Who cares? I'm pleased that you're here to join us. Cheez-Its. Is it hard to keep your personal life separate from your own life, online life? No, I naturally compartmentalize, and of course, I am ideally placed because of what I am to keep those two worlds separate, and it's what I've been trained to do also. I simply do not exist. Andrew Green, how long have you been a Man City fan? A long time. I could give you the exact year, but I'm not going to give you any more clues with regard to my age, because you bastards will only suggest that I'm older than I actually am. So that ain't going to happen. I'm going to scroll forward a little here. I see that there's Beverly Allison telling me to keep it up and making a contribution. Thank you. And Rebecca, also contribution to the Dirts Fund to soothe the fevered throat of your glorious narrator. Thank you both. Much appreciated. Plenty of questions. I try and get through as many as I possibly can in the time that I have available to me on this day. What do we have next? Persa, how could one diplomatically forewarn a co-worker in a different department that a narcissist being transferred to their department? Concentrate on their behaviors as opposed to saying that this person is a narcissist. That's more likely to go down. You've got to let people work things out for themselves. People don't like to be told things. You can explain, of course, that it's the behaviors. You can talk to them about that and ask them about their experience. How do you find this person? Have you noticed that sometimes they can be this? And rather than tell them, use those open questions of the hows, the whats, the whens, etc., to try and elicit response. And then you can see whether they're thinking along the same lines as you, and then you can start to gently lead them towards the subject matter. Don't go in there all guns blazing going, that's a narcissist. It won't go down very well. Bianca Mayer, I have yesterday cheated on you, HG, and me the Chanel from Vam Saknin's. He says he's a hybrid like you, and his IG is 190. What do you think over him? I'm not sure who this Van Saknin is, although somebody did tell me that he's now saying that he's a somatic. Okay. Melin Hines. Are a lot of therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists narcissists? There are many that can be found to be that, but as a percentage would be difficult to say. Holdol GM. Cheers, HG. Just an observation, but it's impressive that you're able to remember the contents of your many works during the chats in order to direct listeners to a specific work for answers. Thank you. I appreciate that. Canadian girl, your voice is so smooth and comforting. It certainly is. It comes to soothe your ears, my chocolatey, velvety tones, pouring into your conch-like ears, enabling those of you where it's late to perhaps drift away into a restful and deep sleep. For the rest of you, you can only imagine what it would be like to be in close physical proximity to your glorious narrator as you hear these tones. Of course, for some, I am the dream, and for others, a nightmare. Let me see. Joanne McAvoy, I have to pay a visit to the Knowledge Vault so I can add to the 26 products I already have. Yes, you do. You've only got probably about 12%, so there's work to be done there. Try Stiga Nahil. There is a huge misunderstanding that empath is always nice, sweet, virgin, lovey-dovey. Correct. I've explained on many occasions that they're not saints. Shannon's Redemption, are you happy? I don't do happiness, as I've explained. Queen Victoria's clarified, do you work alone professionally? I mean, a lot of the time I do. I don't work specifically for anybody, as in I don't have an employer. I have independent arrangements. Brett Garside, X1DWR. I'm not stupid, sir. I see. Thank you for that. Queen of Kingsbury. How nasty did you get to your intimate primary sources? Nasty enough to assert control of them and draw fuel. My actual sheer malice, as I've explained before, tends to be reserved for those with regard to my business, commercial, and military dealings. It's too easy, you see, with intimate partner primary sources. They're not made of stern stuff compared to the people that I deal with in those other circles. That's where I reserve the real core of malice for. Much more fun. Queen Victoria, is your IPPS a happy person being with you, a narcissistic psychopath? Naturally. I'm charming, I'm fun, I'm interesting, I'm red hot in the sack, I'm a font of knowledge. What is there not to like? The guy next door. Narcissists often make excellent chameleons. That's probably Narcissist plays his adorable sides of himself, public and private, are two different stories. Correct. Queen Victoria, how many minions do you have in your dungeon? Let me check. I'll just go over to the other computer, ascertain what it has to say with regard to the minions. There are 2,077 minions currently in the dungeon. Robin Kennedy, your dark side is definitely most chilling. Glad at least some of the time you put your talents to positive use. They're always put to positive use, Robin Kennedy, for my benefit, of course. Sharon's Redemption. Do you think that narcissism is just a personality type that was essential for the survival of humans? Essential for the survival of some humans? Yes. Joanne McAvoy. If you could have a superpower, what would it be? Flight. Andrew Green. If a narc tells me you wouldn't have liked the argumentative person I was back then, does it mean they're aware? No. First of all, we would have to establish whether they're a narcissist, looking at the range of behaviors over a sustained period of time, and then that would enable us to know whether they're unaware or aware. As you know, most narcissists are unaware. The fact that they say you wouldn't like the argumentative person I was back then is simply bringing up the past for the purpose of controlling the now. Being argumentative can apply to anybody. Saying that you wouldn't like me because I was argumentative back then isn't an admission of narcissism. Amy Emerson. Hello, HG. Who is your favorite composer? Do you mean classic or generally? Martin Lee Gore, of course, of Depeche Mode, has composed some excellent songs. Favorite movie score? Well, Zulu is one of my favorite films. The aspects of that, certainly I do like the score. There's many different movie scores that one enjoy. Interstellar has a good score. Gladiator has a good score. I think also The Mission has a good score. There's many that one could choose from. Tina Stiles, HG, are we going to find, beg your pardon, are we going to hear any more chapters from Funding Freedom, Finding Dollars? Yes, at some juncture. You've got to remember, I do find it quite boring reading about Harry's wife, and therefore it's not really a huge priority. I know that people do enjoy it, and I will do so in due course because it'll have to be finished. Paloma Lopez. Hi, HG. Hello, Paloma. It would be very interesting if you made a video that explains how each cadres and school forms in childhood, what happens at an narcissist, cerebral, somatic, etc. Work in progress. Point taken. Anna Mandel. Can identical twins be one narcissist, one empath? Yes. My twin was not a narcissistic psychopath. J.R. Callahan. What's your most popular merch item? I haven't checked the statistics, actually, but I do see that regularly people like to buy the mugs. I've noticed quite a few people buying the Ultra one just recently. I'd encourage you to do so, I think. Rebecca Lynn, good morning, Mr. Tudor. I really enjoy your work. When are you planning on continuing the Ensnared series with Ashley and Ian? Well, as I've explained previously, later this year is the intention to deal with that. Monica C., thank you very much for your contribution. That is appreciated. Bumblebee, Dr. Plagiarizer seems to be a narcissist herself. You would not be incorrect by stating that. Andrew Green, how old was your twin sister when she passed? You'll have to wait for news on that. Was it in your formative years? Yes, it was. If you haven't accessed already, I would recommend that you listen to the Knowing HG series. You'll learn more about that. Eleanor Karina, chocolate digestive. Yummity yum yum. What is your favorite biscuit? I don't really eat too many, actually, because they're not good for you, really. But if I was to choose, I do occasionally like a fig roll, actually. But you can't really go wrong with some thick chocolatey biscuits from Marks and Spencer's. They have their selection there. They're quite nice. Fortnum's do some jolly good ones, which are stem ginger and chocolate. So I quite like those as well. The tin's rather good for banging and annoying people. If they're talking rubbish, you can just clatter a fork against it until they shut the fuck up. Tina Stiles can't stand Dr. Todd Grant. Well, good for you. My Toby Toaster, are you looking forward to James Corden coming back to the United Kingdom? We are keeping Harry's wife. Very much so. I'll be there at Heathrow at the arrivals gate. James, my old mucker, come on in. Well done for making such a little go such a very long way. Come with me. I'm now going to, oh dear, look, there's the electric cattle prod applied to him and the gaffer tape over the mouth. And 1, 2, 3, into the boot. He's a heavy chap, but I'm strong enough to pop him in there now. Why shall I take him for his overdue torture? John Smith, Dr. Plagiarizer, says way too many words and says nothing. She annoys me now. I like HG's clarity and concise explanations. Thank you. Liz Ann wants more on Putin. Noted. Time allows, I will do so. Bumble D, Dr. Ronnie, I think I've mentioned that earlier. Yes, I did. We can carry on. Paloma Lopez, is it possible that in a family a father be a lesser and a son be a mid-range? Yes. Why does that happen? Different factors with regard to genetics and treatment. Intellect also plays a part, which again, you will know, for instance, that you might have two parents who aren't that clever and the child's a genius. Where does that come from? Answers on a postcard. Let's go retro. Naughty and Nice. Hi, HG. Hello, Naughty and Nice. Stacey L. Yeah, plagiarizer rambles endlessly. Ramble, word salad. Liz Arnott. Yes, we mentioned you want some more on Putin. Ryan Grundy. HG, have you been to New England? Yes, I have. Liz Arnott again asked me, can you do more on Putin? Calm down, Liz. Calm down. Heather Hawkins. HG, roughly what percentage of victims escape? It's low. About 10 to 15%, I would say. Karen, I think you're a spy. Your German accent perfect. Maybe same time as Putin. Say Putin so everyone can hear. Do you think I am? Some kind of performing monkey telling me what to say? Goodness me. I expect, Karen, for you to make a hefty donation to the Dirts Fund now for that disgraceful transgression. Melissa Di Nicola, you cracked me up. Well, so long as you piece yourself together again afterwards. Rebecca Lynn, Dr. Grand, or is it Grande? I don't know. Is it like a Hocho Grande? I think I may have mentioned this before. I don't tend to bother with coffee shops. I'm not a huge coffee drinker. But there's one occasion where it was apt for me, for the purpose of ensnaring somebody, to enter Starbucks. And it was a rather cold day. And I was in Chester, which is a city in the northwest of England, an ancient place. The Romans called it Diva. And I asked for a hot chocolate. And the minion behind the counter turned and said, Hocho Grande. I was tempted to rip his throat out there and then. Bumblebee, not only is he ill-informed, he's boring as hell. That must be Dr. Todd Hocho Grande you must be talking about. Amy Jones, how old is HG? Let's ask him, shall we? HG, how old are you? Well, thank you for asking me, HG. I'm old enough to know and young enough to do. Well, thank you for answering that, HG. You're most welcome, HG. Carol Crockwell, it's not my ears that need soothing. No, it's your fevered brow. Paloma Lopez, HG, there's no day I don't hear your videos. Thank you for keep listening. Most important. Joanne McAvoy, there are many imposters preaching about narcissism out there. A few of the names have appeared in this chat. Well, indeed. Lindia Hebert, stop it, you devil. Make me. Amy Jones, 59. Right. Carmen Miranda, may the fruit on your head rot trickle into your eyes and blind you forever for that scurrilous remark. Aging me ridiculously. Absolutely disgusting. Challenge fuel, you see. Persa, thank you for all your insights and knowledge. You're most welcome. Stacey L is suspicious of Dr. Hocho Grande. She believes he has a political bias. But you need to expand on that. Rob, well tertiary fueled, Mr. HGT. Well, I'm well fueled from the people I've been dealing with earlier today. Sharon's Redemption, Cara Crockwell, Narcs won't give you any satisfaction. No, we always leave you wanting more, of course, you see. Sui Generic, dying to know who designed. I pick it and then tell my talented graphic designer, this is what I require, weave your magic, and he does so. Hi, HG just joined the live. What, 40 minutes in? Psh. Who are you, Captain Tardy? Apologies if you already answered this question. I've really enjoyed your videos, Amber Heard. Good. Will you be analysing Johnny Depp? Nah, can't be bothered. Fuck it. I'll just tell you in 5 minutes what he is, yeah? Of course I'm going to analyse Johnny Depp. But it won't be for a little while. I have other matters to attend to coming up very soon. Carmen Miranda. Amy Jones, I don't think 59, but I think he's in his early 50s. You are not endearing yourself to me. Again, you're aging me. Sally MJ, why do you speak as you're speaking down to everyone? Because I'm on a mountain top and you're in the valley below. Why else would it be, Sally MJ? Come now, think about it. Anne Crosby, do you ever have moments of remorse for empaths and old forbidden word used there? No, I'm a narcissistic psychopath. I have no conscience, no guilt, no remorse. Carmen Miranda, oh yes, to be able to fly. You'll be flying out of the window, Carmen Miranda, for your cheek presently. I'll be defenestrating you in due course. Tom Muggeridge, what do you think about people who say you aren't a narcissist? Good. My charm works. More people fooled. They don't think that I'm a narcissist. You see this entire body of work. You must be a fool. But then there are those that don't think that. Just makes them easier to deal with, doesn't it? Because they're not going to be on their guard. Cheez-Its, can a narcissist be a valued member of a community or organization? Yes. Sui, I've already answered that. Yes, you asked me again. Invisibility is what somebody wants as a superpower. I can get that. Mountain top manners, plebs in the valleys. Down in the valleys. Bianca Poponio. Pomponio. Hello, stop trying to be funny. I don't have to try to be funny. I am just naturally funny. J.R. Callahan. HG, a champagne breakfast toast to you from California, with sincere thanks for your excellent analyses of the evil trio of Jada, Markle, and Amber Turd. Thank you, J.R. Callahan. Much appreciated for your grandiosity. The dirt's bottle is creeping ever closer to your glorious narrator. CNEI happy. It sounds like you're quite disciplined. I'm extremely disciplined. It's important. If I didn't exercise discipline with regard to many aspects of my life, I would not be effective. And it's hugely important for me to be effective. Inug for me. I never noticed Grande having a specific political bent. Okay. Sol, 40 minutes in. I joined in 5 minutes ago. I'm always late, but worth the wait. I'll be the judge of that, Sol. Sanjay Mehta. Where do you get your energy and drive from? Copious amounts of Bolivian marching powder, naturally. No, I get my energy and drive from, where do you think? Fuel. That's what powers me. Julia Barrett, good morning from snowy Montana. Sounds positively delightful. Ryan Grundy, Dr. Hocho Grande is right-wing. Thank you for clarifying. Ingrid Petra Browning, HG, your insight and knowledge is impeccable. I agree, thank you. Spot on, I agree, thank you. And should be considered and implemented in the psychological medical field. I agree, thank you. And labeling in the diagnosis of folks. I agree, thank you. Thanks so much. Sharon's Redemption. At Carol Crockwell loves you. Do you want to destroy her? Why would I want to destroy somebody that is under my control and is loyal to me and provides me with bits and pieces of tertiary fuel? Think it through. Sarah Mayer. Hello, Sarah. Good morning, HG. Of all the military weapons this world has in it, which ones are your favorite and why? Not including you. My hands. They're military-grade weapons. And, of course, my voice. Who cares? Defenestrating. Awesome word it is, isn't it? Lovely word. CNEI happy. Do you like tea and scones with clotted cream and jam? It's jolly tasty, but one can't have too much of it. And for those who are in Devon or Cornwall, in the United Kingdom, HG takes his scones like this. Jam first, cream on top. Yes, I can hear howling in one particular county, but that's the way it is for HG. Laura Airy was just checking for a list of all HG's books and saw a pic beside the books. Is this really later? No. I think I've explained before, there are two pictures which tend to turn up in relation to searches about me. One is an individual wearing mirror sunglasses, giving a V for Victory sign with blonde hair. That's Christine, who interviewed me from Out of the Box many moons ago. And there's also somebody who interviewed me, I think it was called The Young One, and his face, or picture rather, pops up. That's not me either. So, no, neither of them me. Rachel Franks, are you musically inclined, HG, playing instruments? Yes, I play the Willy Banjo. Dove Girl Lover, will you ever do Angelina Jolie under the Tudoscope? I might well do indeed. What else have we got here then? Riverman agrees that Starbucks is awful. No reason to drink that shite living in Europe. Well, the only reason actually on that occasion was taking one for the narcissism to ensnare a particular individual. Megs, I don't think you speak down to anyone, but the YouTuber from Americano does. Well, that's their problem, isn't it? Hold Doll GM. If I order a mug, do you carefully package it and put it in the post yourself? Oh, absolutely. I've nothing better to do than just sit waiting for those orders to ping through. And I go, oh, fantastic. Look, Holdall has ordered an ultra mug. And I wander over and I carefully take it from the shelf and I give it a little kiss for you. And then I polish it up for you. And then I delicately place it on a bed of shredded paper, wrap it in some bubble wrap. And then I place it in a box, put the label on, and then I kiss the box to wish it well on its journey and say, fly, little bird, to Holdall, so she can drink whatever beverage she likes from this delicious mug. No, I don't do it. Another organization does. So anything that turns up that doesn't fit, is broken, or otherwise doesn't work, blame those fuckers. It's nothing to do with me. But do get the merch. It's not that expensive. And moreover, it's really good for allowing other people to access the work. Sui Generic. May I request a series of merch featuring the digital art? They illustrate your concept so well. Well, I may do so, but I mean, which art are you talking about? I've got thousands of videos with thousands of thumbnails. Perhaps some of you might want to say what some of your favorites are, and I will look into that. Justine, what color are your eyes? Blue. The Patience Stone. Are all narcissists liars, and do they all gaslight? Yes. Carmen Miranda, okay, just looked up defenestration. Well, if you did, you'll have been disappointed because I said defenestration. You might want to look up the incident defenestration of Prague that took place in 1618. Hi, HG, can you do a series on some Grainters? You mentioned Obama before, and I'd love a series on him. Again, if time allows, yes, go and look at Boris Johnson. There's one on him, and there's some video analysis of him. Bleeding Bitsy, will you or have you ever analysed Elon Musk? I find him quite infantile. Well, I have analysed him, but I haven't shared the analysis yet, and I will do so. Louise Royalty, HG is handsome, not some boring doctor. Hello, Louise. Good to have you here. Ryan Grundy. Gritchard Rannan, whoever that is. Who is Gritchard Rannan? Not aware of this individual. Where there is love, we are HG's fuel, so chuffed. Would you like a chuffedy badge? Tom Mugridge, do you ever get any narc detectors where the subject is a pure psychopath? It hasn't happened so far, no. Bumblebee, beside the torture of your minions, what leisure activities do you engage in? I play football. I shoot. I lift weights. I go for a run. I read. I compose music. So those are some of the leisure activities. Um, I socialize, of course. I have a particular interest in certain history. So there are lots of different things that I do for leisure activity. I like to go and watch football, and I like to go and watch other sports such as cricket and handball. Occasionally, I'll ski. Lots of different things. Just depends when time allows. I quite fancy dungeon mastering a game of Dungeons and Dragons. I'll have to get my old buddies together and do that at some point, assuming they're still knocking around. Most of them I know are. Bianca Mayer. Carol is a very good, bad word used there for HG. Well, actually, she's not. She's a tertiary source, which means the fuel isn't potent. Her communication with me is only ever in writing, which is the smallest amount of fuel that can be provided. I do wish that people would read fuel and understand it and stop using that stupid word supply, because it doesn't really explain what it is, and to understand the three strands of fuel and the differences. Very important to do so. Christina Perosco tells us that invisibility would not be super if not accompanied with flight. Just saying. Don't put just saying on the end. We know you're saying, or rather you're writing, so you don't need to tell us that you are. Bullish Gina G. Hello, HG. I love your books. Any new books in the works? Thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy them. Well, the final part in the Narcissist Instead Narcissist Seduction trilogy, that's being worked on, as also when the Narcissist met HG, which will amuse you and entertain you. Those are two which are being worked on. There's other stuff which will be more audio files. That's to do with the empaths, all of that material. I'm also looking, of course, to undertake the narration of my books for Audible, as many people ask for that. Tristiga. HG gets his energy and power from things like this live stream or that falling attention. Yeah. Well, undoubtedly fuel is provided, but as I've just explained, it's not the major part where my fuel comes from. Christina Robertson, rather. My favorite voice. Good morning from California. Good morning to you also. I'm being asked how many drones do I have? I have 2. In actual fact, one of the drones was given a little run out earlier on for the first time in quite some time, because I was able to do so where I have been based. Naturally, that's not something that I could do. Not my personal one anyway. I've been able to use a different one, which is the purpose of gathering information. Hazel Trickett. OMD Souvenir is a brilliant song too. It is. Kay Shepherd. Do you think we are close to Orwell's 1984? You're already in it. Latonia, are you in the British royal family? No. Chase Holmes, if a narc detector did indicate the subject in question was a psychopath and not a narcissist, would you tell him as such? Yes. Tom Muggeridge, why is being well regarded by others a mid-range trait and not a greater trait? Because the greater knows that they're fantastic and doesn't need to trouble themselves with that, whereas the mid-ranger needs to be reinforced that they're well regarded. Naomi Sherrod, sounds like you have a very busy life. That's true, I do have. Queen of Kingsbury, what kind of music do you compose? Well, you listen to some of it. So I'm going to be making some of it available in the Knowledge Vault as well. But I haven't played D&D, but do play an online role-playing game. I think there are some narcs on there. Which one do you play? Lilith of Daydream, what alignment did you most often play during D&D? I was the Dungeon Master, so I didn't play an alignment. Or rather, I played lots of different alignments because I played the characters that infested the world that I had created. Julia Barrett. Actually, HG, I would like to see you on horseback. Well, giddy up. I'm on my way over. Laura V. Good morning, HG. Can you give your opinion on the crap in the bed by Amber Heard? I already have. Go and listen to my Amber Heard videos. All of the answers are there. Who cares? OMG. Yes, please read Fuel. Indeed. Robin Kennedy. Dr. Hocho Grande has no imagination. If the topic is not something that he has experienced, it simply does not exist. What does that sound like? Interesting. Where there is love, Naomi, he was exaggerating his activities. No, I wasn't. I undertake all of those things. Not necessarily all at once, because time doesn't allow me to do so. So I don't play football whilst skiing, whilst reading about history. Obviously, it might be because of what I'm doing. I haven't played football in a number of weeks. I haven't skied since last year. So I'm not exaggerating them. You asked me what are the range of leisure activities I take part in. I listed some of them. Doesn't mean that I do them every single day. Kay Shepherd, audiobooks are essential for people on the move. I will buy them all. Good to know. Bullish Gina G, it's not supply, dirty word. The correct word is fuel. Correct. Maddie Parks, how do you qualify for the interview series of those who succumb to narcs? Do you mean how do you qualify for the series of interviews that I've been doing recently? You need to have spoken to me in audio consultation several times. That's the criteria. Rebecca Lynn, if HG is a member of the royal family, I'd die from laughter if HG was Harry. Oh, come now. Come now. Seriously, if you thought I was Harry, do you think this voice is Harry? Come on. Naomi Sherrod, thank you for all the 3 videos you've given us. Thank you for your donation. Appreciated. I need to scroll back now. Queen of Kingsbury, my kids play with drones. Do they now? Do the drones belong to them, or do they steal other people's drones? Or is it the case that they try and jump onto them as the drone comes near and hang on for dear life as they're carried up into the firmament? More information is required. Queen of Kingsbury, you sound like I imagine Prince Michael of Kent would sound. Interesting. Kika, wonderful to spend a Sunday morning listening to your voice, HG. Thank you for joining me. Yeah. Sharon's Redemption. Narcs are not intelligent, though. It's all a farce. Well, first of all, you've not used the word farce correctly. So negative points for you on the intelligence front there, Sharon's Redemption. And actually, many narcissists are hugely intelligent. I am, to begin with. I have a string of qualifications in terms of a first-class degree result, postgraduate degree result. So I am particularly intelligent, and there are many narcissists that are intelligent. Of course, there are a lot that aren't as well. But to say narcs are not intelligent, though, is basically the remark of somebody who's not that intelligent. But I know that you're here to try and cause some provocation, so do keep trying, and you'll keep failing. Chase Holmes, do low mid-functioning psychopaths know what they are if there is NPD? If there is no NPD present, they will be more likely to have insight into that, not necessarily because of what they have worked out for themselves, but more likely if they've been diagnosed and assessed, they tend to be accepting of the fact of what they are, because the pure psychopath essentially embraces the emptiness in which they exist. Something I will be telling you more about in the series where I talk about pure narcissists, pure psychopaths, and narcissistic psychopaths. Lydia Herbert, Grande is as boring as flour. Never heard flour described. Never heard being boring described as flour before. Kimmy loves my voice. Thank you very much. Silky. Elon is like a child playing with toys. Might actually be good if he bought Coca-Cola. He's probably whimsical enough to make cool new flavors. Yes, he might do. They're all playthings for him. And if he sends the value of my Coca-Cola shares upwards, all to the good. And of course, what's quite entertaining, isn't it, with him having bought Twitter, I caught a little bit of information about how those individuals who've suffered as a consequence of the bullying of one Christopher Boozy are now somewhat elated at the arrival of Elon Musk. And I think, gauging from what I've read, that Boozy is somewhat concerned and that traction has been removed from him. Where there is love, Tudor history is fascinating and cruel. There's no mercy in Tudor times. And quite right, there's no mercy. When you've bested your enemy, always put them to the sword. You should always ensure that that happens. Never show any mercy, because they will come back and they will stick a knife in your back. When you win totally. Chop their heads off. Gut them. Finish them off. Silky, he'd be Coca-Cola Willy Wonka. Well, there's an interesting series that could be created, couldn't it? Elon Musk is the Willy Wonka of Coca-Cola. Kay Shepherd, when will you complete Little Boy Lost? When I finish writing it is the unhelpful answer. Bianca Mayer has set Sharon's Redemption straight also. Cheez-Its identifies that HG is never boring. Absolutely right. 7 Babby 3, I could listen to you for ages. I'm sure you could. but I haven't got ages today. But you can always put this on a loop and listen again and again and chortle to yourself various asides. Liz Arnott, Harry, much too intelligent for Harry. Oh, apparently, though, narcissists aren't intelligent, according to Sharon's Redemption. L. Diamonds, have you ever seen the old game show The Inquisitor? No, he was wickedly sarcastic, so you could be the Inquisitor. Sounds like a job for me. Maybe it needs to come back. Melanie Hines, what are your thoughts about Vice President Kamala Harris? Well, if you want to know what she is, obtain Know the Narcissist. Tom Muggeridge, do narcissists actually have low self-esteem? Already answered in my videos, Tom. Come on, I thought you'd listen to them all. I'll give you a pass. It's late where you are. You're probably drifting off the stentorian tones of your glorious narrator, creating a cloud-like, cosseting sensation, and you're probably drifting off down under there. So I'll let you go with that one. L Diamonds, HG, you need a theme song. How about I Me Mine? Good idea. Perhaps I'll throw that open to everybody because that needs a theme tune would be a good thing. Christina Peroso, HG is not a ginger. I refuse to believe that. Correct. I'm a dirty blonde. Bleeding Bitsy, he might not be Harry, but maybe he should run for our next Prime Minister. Wouldn't want to take the pay cut. Queen of Kingsbury, I love how you call out these posts for what they are, as you should. Well, absolutely. It's my live stream. I will dictate it accordingly. Rob, please do some videos about elite narcissists. Rob, go to the Knowledge Vault and obtain HG Maul's The Elite Narcissist. That will give you all the answers you need about that. Biscuit88, HD, it's HG, but I let it pass because you're thanking me. Thank you so much. Wrapped up divorce and kept my daughter. Good for you. Well done. Brett Garside, LOL. You sound like Prince Andrew to me, sir. Well, I could understand that, but I'm not. Swinging A. Yes, audiobooks are amazing. Well, I have already narrated Narc Tales 1 and Narc Tales 2, so I'd encourage you to dive into the Knowledge Vault and listen to those. You'll find them very entertaining, and there are some little nuggets about other people in there. Megs, actually, intelligence is subjective. Well, yes and no, because one can objectively measure intelligence, can't one? So, and I think we can all agree that you're dealing with certain people, you say, yes, that's an intelligent person. So there'd be a majority perspective as to that intelligence and go, that person's thick as mince over there. Supernova Empress. Hello, HG. What sort of consultation would you consider it to be? Or do you have one where, for example, you tell me my life and you give a detailed analysis and advice? Cost dollar. Well, if you wanted to know, are you involved with a narcissist, use the narc detector. If you want to know what you are, use the empath detector. If you want bespoke advice about your circumstances, use the audio consultation. Narc detector, $100, empath detector, $100, audio consultation, $150 per consultation. L Diamonds, why are we wasting so much time talking about that lower narcissist, Dr. Hocho Grande? He only likes vanilla ice cream and his second-rate books he writes. Oof, that's him told. Burn as admission. Tina Stiles, HG, are you a reincarnation of Henry VIII? More than likely. Sybil Clark, HG is very intelligent indeed, thank you. Whisper, good morning, HG. Good morning, Whisper. If there was one video from your YouTube channel you would recommend to give to a victim who is not familiar with narcissism, which would it be? What is narcissism? Chase Holmes, which sub-school do you have the most disdain for? Middle range type B. Those mealy mouths, shriveled up, walnut ball, cry baby, mid-range type B. Sybil Clark, HG, you have taught me so much about narcissists. I use the information to protect myself. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. If you want to show your thanks for me, you can contribute to the Dirts Fund with a super thanks. Melanie Hines, your Funding Freedom series. Though I know it bores the hell out of you, I laugh the whole time. Sometimes we need that. Well, I can understand that. Joanne McAvoy, the ultimate theme song for HG should be Personal Jesus by Depeche Mode. Good call there, Joanne McAvoy. Sharon's Redemption. HG, how many litigations have you been a part of in terms of whether I'm claimant or defendant? I've probably been involved in litigation round about 10 times, I would say. usually as the claimant. And yes, I do win. It's usually seeking injunctive relief. I was involved in litigation, of course, with regards to a divorce, and I've been involved in litigation for the recovery of monies that have been owed to me, and also with regard to preventing people from taking certain steps. Pink Pixie, have you ever been in love? No, I'm a narcissist. I'm not capable of love. Have I ever met my match? No. Rob, HG Tudor, probably saved more lives than Red Cross. Stealing that, thank you very much. That'll be appearing as I am the David Attenborough of Narcissism. And now we see the lower mid-ranger approaching the victim. But I'm also going to use that HG Tudor, probably saved more lives than the Red Cross. Cheez-Its. You teach us how to escape narcissists. You provide any material avoiding them in the first place? Yes, I do. Go to the Knowledge Vault, obtain red flag, black flag, and early warning detector. Supernova Empress, I already utilize empath detector. Thank you. So it sounds like your third option would suit me best. Jolly good. Janet Blair, do you have children? No, I don't. Laura Era, I've heard some say H is Henry VIII reincarnated and Harry's wife Anne Boleyn, hence the need to humiliate and destroy. Monica Brown, Hudor, I don't know who that is. You skipped over my question. Lydia Herbert, not yet. Chris Dunbar, HG, would the Forgotten City game be of any interest? Don't know that. Email me and tell me more about it. Joanne McAvoy, HG, would you ever remarry? Are you asking me, Joanne? Is this a proposal? Are we witnessing the beginning of something beautiful here? Would I ever remarry if I dictated that it was appropriate for me to do so? The answer to that would be a yes. Dog's a girl, lover. HG, if you do a series on Elon Musk, he has Asperger's. I've read with some Asperger's can be mislabeled as narcissistic since some can share similar character traits. Yes, I'm aware of that. Thank you. Pink Pixie, your theme song should be Liar by the Rollins Band. It's perfect. That song's been mentioned to me before, but I don't lie all of the time, you know. You get the truth. Because as you know in my excellent video, The Truth, the Half-Truth, and Nowhere Near the Truth, sometimes we will use the truth to our advantage. Piers Morgan does so regularly when he's talking about Harry's wife. Carmen Miranda, I'd like to know your definition of a person who is narcissistic. It's somebody that has high narcissistic traits, low empathic traits, and low emotional empathy. Listen to the video, narcissistic or narcissist. Sharon's Redemption, do you have empathy for those with a physical or cognitive disability? I don't have any emotional empathy. You should know this. I'm a narcissistic psychopath. Queen Victoria, did I hear you say once you're the only ultra? You did hear me correctly. GKHG, if there have been more than one narcissist in one's life and I want to learn more about them, would I have to do a narc detector for each one? Yes, you would. But if you've got a lot, I am amenable to doing a deal. So email me and ask. Lilith of Daydream, what's the meaning of life? Understanding narcissism. It unlocks understanding life. Supernova Empress, $150 sounds reasonable for your services. Yes, it is. However, after the $150 consultation of my life, you may just end up paying me the $150. I can safely say I will not be doing so. Monica C. HG, do you think Henry VIII was a narcissist? He was a narcissistic psychopath. Rebecca, Sympathy for the Devil by Rolling Stones should be your song. Yes, that's a fair enough observation. Stephanie Johnson, have you watched any of the self-proclaimed self-aware narcissist videos? If so, who? I've tried lately and makes me so grateful you're indeed intelligent and aware. No, I haven't. I'm given to understand apparently that this gentleman called Vam Saknin is a self-aware narcissist. But beyond that, I don't know anything else. Occasionally people do mention people to me, and invariably what they put in front of me demonstrates an unaware mid-range narcissist who thinks that they're a self-aware narcissist, and they just generally talk a lot of nonsense, particularly with regards to, yeah, I've healed myself and now I can have a constructive life with my wife. They are lying, and they are giving people false hope that you can somehow have a constructive, intimate engagement with the narcissist. People ought not to listen to them because they don't provide the full information. They're deluded and they are not self-aware. They're jumping on the bandwagon that is narcissism. If you want to understand narcissism, come to my work. Unvarnished, unsugar-coated, the honest appraisal of how it is. And that's what needs to be done in that regard, with regard to talking about anything to do with narcissism. So in those circumstances, that's what has to be addressed, that you come to my work and that you focus on that, and you'll get all the answers that you need. Well, Madam Time has outstrode us. It's time for me to depart from this impromptu live stream. Thank you very much for joining us, and joining me rather, and for providing me with all of those very interesting questions. If I didn't get to yours, try again next time. I look to get through as many as I possibly can. Make sure that you've given a thumbs up for this video and that you've directed the people to it, and keep those eyes open for the next impromptu live stream. It all remains for me to say, I'm HG Tudor. I'm the Ultra. Thank you for listening.